In the dead of night, on the 31st of January 2026, something ended. Not with fanfare, not with explosions or dramatic farewell screens, just silence. Access to Epic Conquest X gone. Servers quiet. The game that once promised to carry the legacy of one of mobile gaming's most beloved indie series vanished from our devices. This is not just another shutdown announcement. This is the story of a vision that slipped away, a community left in the dark, and a desperate attempt to reclaim what was lost. If you've ever poured hours into Epic Conquest 1 or 2, if you waited for X to finally arrive, or if you're one of the thousands still wondering what happened, stay with me. Because the truth is more complicated and more haunting than any simple game over message. It began at 4:20 a.m., GMT +1. That exact time is burned into the memory of every player who saw the post. Mr. Robo, the solitary director and lead developer behind the entire Epic Conquest series, broke a months-long silence with words that felt heavier than any patch note. "Hey guys," he wrote, "I want to give you all a proper update on the third series, Epic Conquest X. Proper update." Those two words carried weight. Because until that moment, the game had been frozen in early access limbo, promising banners that never came, events that never started, and a world that refused to grow. He didn't soften the blow. Services and access would end on January 31. Depending on when you're watching this, the doors are already closed. The game you downloaded, the characters you invested in, the hours you spent grinding, they're gone. But Robo didn't stop at the announcement. He went deeper. He confessed something far more unsettling than a shutdown. Since the early access launch, he had been asking himself the same question over and over. Where did we lose the vision? That single sentence stopped me cold. Because if anyone should have known the soul of Epic Conquest, it was him. Think back to the originals. Epic Conquest 1 and 2 weren't built on trends. They weren't chasing the next big gacha wave. They were raw, focused, fiercely original, tight combat, deep character stories. Offline progression that respected your time. Passion poured into every pixel. There was no need to copy Genshin Impact or Wuthering Waves. The formula worked because it was honest. So, when Robo admitted that Epic Conquest X had drifted away from that core, it felt like watching the foundation crack. He described it plainly: a lack of clear direction, pressure to become like the giants, a gacha system that punished rather than rewarded, an always online requirement that alienated the very players who loved the series for its solitude and simplicity. The community had been screaming these things for months. But hearing them from the director himself, that was different. Then came the second revelation, the one that made the silence make sense. The team had grown, dramatically. What started as a small, tight-knit group became something larger, something he no longer fully controlled. "I never truly knew what it meant to be a director," he wrote. That line haunted me. Here was the creator of a franchise admitting that somewhere along the way, he lost sight of his own role. The bigger the team, the more voices, the more compromise. The more compromise, the more the original dream faded. He didn't try to defend it, he owned it. And because of that, he made the hardest decision of all. Epic Conquest X is not dead, not permanently. It is being rebuilt completely from the ground up. The core team, the original builders, are returning to the foundation. They are stripping away everything that diluted the vision and starting again with the elements that made the series unforgettable. This process began in early December. That's why the Vivian banner never arrived. That's why updates stopped. That's why the game felt abandoned. They kept it secret. No teasers, no devlogs, just silence while they tore it down and began again. Now they promise progress updates, possibly through announcements, possibly live streams sometime between February and March. I want to believe them. I've been in this community long enough to know how timelines can stretch, how hope can be weaponized. But for the first time in months, there is a path forward that isn't just wait and see. There is intent. There is a return to roots. Another senior developer added one more piece to the puzzle. The upcoming major update, whenever it arrives, will focus on two things above all: gameplay transformation and optimization. They know the performance issues. They know the lag. They know the crashes. They know that a beautiful world means nothing if it runs like a slideshow on half the devices that once carried Epic Conquest 1 and 2 with ease. They're aiming for something broader. A game that lives on multiple platforms. A game that is genuinely F2P friendly. A game that doesn't force you to choose between paying or suffering. Is it too late? Has the trust been broken beyond repair? Only time will tell. But here is what I know. The man who built this world once, who gave us characters and stories we still remember years later, is trying to do it again. Not for clout, not for money. For the same reason he started in the first place, because he believes the Epic Conquest world deserves to exist. If you're still here, if you still care, then give them the time they're asking for. I'll be watching. I'll be waiting. And the moment new information drops, whether it's a live stream, a dev update, or something entirely unexpected, I'll bring it to you. This channel exists for moments like this, to dig into the stories behind the games we love, to separate rumor from reality, and to keep the conversation alive even when the servers go dark. If this video reached you, if it answered even one question that's been burning since January 31, then hit that like button. It helps push this information to others who are still searching for answers. Share it with your friends from the old days, anyone who once called Epic Conquest home. And if you want to stay in the loop when the first real progress report lands, when the rebuild starts showing signs of life, subscribe and turn on notifications. I won't let this story end in silence. Thank you for watching. Thank you for caring. Whatever comes next, we'll face it together. I'll see you in the next one.